mile. Binary and beetles, syntax and roots. Soil's the circuit and the seeds are the fruits. Break it all down, build it back up. Carbon's the currency in my data cup. I code with compost, algorithms of earth. Rewrite the cycles, design rebirth. From waste to harvest, nothing is lost. Future is fertile, I code with compost.
Hey y'all, Andrew Reed, Mossy Creek Mushrooms. Glad to see people already on. That's what I get for doing it where West Coasters can join me. Hun's at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. Hope everybody's doing well. Looks like we got Myco Ogre. What's going on, bud? It's gonna freeze again. I can see it gonna freeze. Woo, woo. Boy, it's really, I was going to say, taking its time. But anyways, it's good to see everybody on. I don't know if we just had a pause there for me, but hopefully it didn't for everybody. I'm glad to hear it, Myco. Ogre. There's too many Mycos. I'm Myco Minor. You're Myco Ogre. But yeah, I'm glad to hear it. This is one that excites me a lot. This is partially what, I got into mushrooms for. So let's see. There we go. That works. But yeah, I'm glad to have you with us. What's up, Eric? The Virgin Islands. Never been early for a live stream in my life. Well, it helps when I publish it, right? Ahead of time, but I'm glad to have you here. Throw it outside, smack it. Throw it outside, smack it, flip it, bag it, done. Compost 101. Yeah, basically, we got some simple stuff like that for sure. Oh, man, everything I uploaded earlier is no longer loaded. That's okay. I think I can do that pretty easily. Texas. Well, welcome. I'm interested in the critters part. I grow bugs and worms. Oh, cool, man. Well, then we should talk sometime because I love bugs and worms. A lot of people don't realize I was actually going to school to be an entomologist before I got struck by the beauty of microbiology. Mycology in particular. Plenty of bugs in the tropics. We allow local farmers, gardeners to pick up spent blocks for composting projects. People seem to really enjoy it. It's nice, Cliff. Yeah, we do something similar. You'll see something very similar in the setup here for sure. People love it. Sometimes it's hard to get people interested in it because they're used to mushroom compost rather than being spent substrate, and so they kind of like, oh, I don't know, this clear bag with this brown stuff and white stuff in it. $10 for a cubic foot bag pot. Pot growers love it. Man, I bet, yeah. Anything that's a heavy feeder. What's up, Fungal Rancher? Glad to have you guys on. Closing loops, absolutely. In fact, that whole I used the AI in part, but I wrote that whole rap that was on the intro. And it's just like, I like the idea of hip hop about about composting and stuff. Oh, excellent. Well, welcome, wife. I don't know what to call you. I've been told that there are many wives who hear my name hear my voice in their sleep because their husbands won't stop playing videos in bed. And I feel so bad for them. Who wants to go to sleep to my voice? That was cool. Thank you. Yeah, I like working. I'm trying to can't promise this, but I want a different song for every single live stream theme. What's up, Pug Pug? Speaking of AI, it's Pug Pug AI. Well, that's cool, man. I'm glad to be doing an evening one. Evening casts are so chill. So I will say, this has been a mentorship week, and I love my mentorships. I And these guys are actually particularly cool. But man, it's Helldivers. That's the first week the Xbox is joining, so I've not really had a chance to play. I got one mission in before this live stream. I'll get it in next week. Or the weekend. But I hope everybody's doing really well. I'm pretty excited about this one. I love talking spent sub. You guys have probably seen my video, Mushroom Farms as Soil Generators. That's definitely going to feature pretty heavily, that same information. That is something that's been near and dear to my heart for a very long time. I've actually long thought that the recycling and renewal of nutrients is really that's the star product of a mushroom farm. The fungal fruits are they're secondary. They're nice. They're wonderful. The medicinal stuff, the gourmet, even the psychoactive, all that stuff has got its place, and it's a nice product. But those are byproducts. The real product is organic biomass. Keep the cycle chugging along. But see, I got a couple more videos I need to upload here as well. I had everything lined up, and that usually makes it fairly easy. But the good news is, guys, I've learned from last 2 weeks how to do this, and keep the sound, which is exciting. So we'll have that. And I think we'll have, I might throw this in a little later. We got a little prototype tool that I think I will share randomly. Let me load that one in as well. Put that in the spent substrate folder, and then we will upload that from said spent substrate folder. Cool. Now the videos are lined up. So, Ogre's wifey. Oh, cool. I have no idea what that actually says. You come up all the time, do I? Oh, well, I'll just call you Ogre's wifey. I'll try to remember, and we'll just go with it over there. For just a split second, I thought you were talking to me, Ogre. I was like, wait now. We know each other, but not like that. No, I'm glad to have you here, wifey, Ogre's wifey. We're gonna hopefully have some good conversations and questions and stuff about. I mean, as experienced as I am with this stuff, there's still a lot I don't know about everything. So we're hopefully going to chug along with some stuff. Hopefully you guys will teach me some stuff. I'll teach you some stuff. I'll show you what we got. Right? I mean, I know we're both ogres. I've actually been told I'm more of a dwarf. What's up, Jesse? Glad to have you on, man. Yeah. We're hoping that you guys will have done some stuff I have not done, because spent substrate is always around. Like I said, even the mentorship I got in here this week was telling me that Bag Mountain's becoming pretty tall. I don't remember exactly how he put it, but it was something like that. And it can get pretty bad. You don't want them to develop. I will say, I let it develop so bad one time that we got rats. Now, not in the op, but out everywhere outside. And here goes that little kitten. But we live next to a pond, so there was already a population of like pond rats, basically, and field rats. But once they had the bags piled up into a mountainous shape, they had all the tunnels, all the insulation, all the food, and all the dry spots that they could ever need. So you don't ever want it to get that bad. I know it's a lot of work, but hey, speaking of, that kitten needs a home. So anybody who's close enough that they want to come get a kitten, that kitten, my kids have trained it to be a flop cat. That's what we call it. My son can literally pour it out of his hands, and the flop kitties are the best kitties. So, and he needs a new home. His brother, I think, is going to stay with me. We also have Doom Kitty. I don't know where Doom Kitty is. That's what my daughter named it. And Doom Kitty's all black with little white socks on the back. So, yeah, they need homes, those two. and then Ma and Pa have gotten fixed. So hopefully we won't have any more kittens here for a while. I want cats. I want a couple of cats for keep the mice away, but the Bag Mountain can get crazy mid-season. Yeah, I mean, you're going hardcore. The farmers markets are on the weekends, so you don't even have the weekends that you would normally have. Like, it just, Bag Mountain can get bad. It can get really tall and really full of things you don't want. Not to mention that it breeds contamination. If it's not near your op, but like mine was right by my op door back in the day. Well, definitely not ideal. And it never really seemed to cause a problem with contamination. I never really have had bad contamination rates since I moved out of the old Rocktown house that we had that was pre-video, like pre-YouTube and all that stuff. I never really had bad contamination since I've left there. But back then, I didn't even have a flow hood. I mean, I was microwaving agar in Petri dishes to sterilize it, which, we did in college. But it wasn't the most ideal setup. So, and then even with that Bag Mountain by the op basement door, the old place, I mean, contamination rates have gone down considerably just with the addition of the flow hood. God bless the flow hood. The flow hood is one of the most amazing tools I think that there has ever been for just being able to do clean work reliably. So, well, I wanted to make sure we gave people a little bit of time to get on here. We'll give them like 3 or 4 more minutes, and then I'll roll the first clip. We'll talk a little bit. Any questions you guys have, we'll have, like I said, there'll be a 20% discount code randomly throughout the episode, as there normally is, and that code will last for a week until the next cast we have. And then we'll have, what else will we have today? I said I think I might tease a prototype tool. We'll see. Ben doesn't like for me to tease some of these tools because he's like, when you tease these things, people start wanting them, and when you want them, and I don't have the time to design them, and I won't be able to put it out fast enough. And I'm like, well, that's okay, because I want to tease it, and I want to play with it. To be fair, today he did say that teasing it would be okay, as long as I don't talk about it. So we'll see what I got. See what I can do. You know what? We can ignore the phone for now. I don't know who's messaging me, but it doesn't look like my wife or my mother, so we can wait. But still need a new 2x4 flow hood filter. Well, you should call up Lab Rats or Man of War. I assume it's still Lab Rats. Anyways, you should call Ben and get you one. Though I will say, if you want a showpiece, like a functional flow hood, that's also a showpiece. Ben and I've got some collaborations going on with some cool stuff. Samantha, myself, and Ben are working on some cool, we figure if you're going to spend money on a flow hood, especially a wooden one, why not make it something beautiful to put behind the camera or the work in front of the camera? I mean, learned that a good electrical leaf mulcher can break up spent blocks pretty well, but still have to take off the bag. Yeah, actually, I should have done that. I should have videoed that because I found the same thing, an electric leaf mulcher. Or I guess this isn't a leaf mulcher. Mine's an electric stick mulcher or whatever. But and I haven't really done it much with blocks, but we cut down Tree of Heaven last year. We're about to do it this year for our wine cap spawn blocks. But the Tree of Heaven, you just chip it and then bag it fresh, steam it, and then inoculate it with wine cap, and it makes just amazing wine cap spawn. So, sorry, I'm sitting there playing with some stuff here, getting it all shredded up. All right, so we got about 5 seconds till 15 minutes in. I figure 15 minutes is enough to get people in here, so we'll start with the first little segment here, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes we'll go over whatever questions and stuff you guys have. Okay, y'all, so we're going to talk a lot about spent substrate and whatnot. There's my pile of shame. But here's the first thing. You can leave it out here for customers to take. So we have customers, pretty regulars that will come through. They drive right in, pull up right here, pull their racks to their truck, and unload them. We just give them away for free now. We used to sell it, and we probably could still sell it if I worked a little harder at it, but to me it's just so much easier to get people to just take it for free that that saves me money. I mean, we don't have to pay for the dumpster as much. Hey, look at that. I guess we can bring those racks in. But yeah, it ends up being one of those things where it's just simpler to let somebody take it for free. Selling it makes it too herky-jerky, which means they stay here for a lot longer than what they do when I just give them away. It makes, and I'm all about simplicity, as you guys know. I prefer to make things easy on me. All right. Oh, there we go. Got the wrong one. Oh, gee. Did you see Teddy in there? Yeah. Yeah. Teddy's, he is, well, I was going to say he's chilling out a little bit, but since you've been here, Rose, and he has, but his, he can be shrill on the barking sometimes. But the mentorship, like every mentorship we've had recently, I'm looking for a female. Teddy's a line that he's the last remaining one I have of the line. Actually, we had the Teddy's dad as well, which rest in peace, little venture. But excuse me. But it's a line that I'm working on, so I need to get him a female and get him bred to keep the line that I'm working on going. And every person that we've had is like, I want some of these dogs. And Teddy is a unique dog. A buddy of mine calls them snake dogs because they're long and snaky. And I can see that, though. I think I'm going to go back a little bit to the Schnauzer side just to beef them up a little bit. 100% on giving them away. Yeah, man. That's giving them away is absolutely a good way to go. And if you get in with some garden clubs and stuff, like, it's amazing. Because not only will they use your compost, but they excuse me. Not only do they get some amazing compost, but sometimes you get veggies back from all these gardener people. And then sometimes they come back and spend money, which is always nice as well. So, it's always good to be able to have them come in and be able to have that circle where they get some benefit, you get some benefit. I like symbiotic relationships, hence the direction I'm going, a lot with this business. He and my Jasper would wreak havoc. Excellent. Yeah, Teddy can be a little bit of a bruiser now. He's actually like terrified of people. Like people freak him out. But other dogs, he's either pretty playful or ready to go. But we've had some mentorships that have had to bring their dogs in. One guy came in with a RV and ended up his air conditioning not working, so we let him to bring his very well behaved dog in. And that actually worked out okay. Teddy was not happy to have another presence in his living quarters, but he did perform his hostly duties politely. On the hand, I'm trying Samantha's strategy. Oh, what's Samantha's strategy? On the dog? Yeah, you're gonna have to help me out with that one, Bruce. So yeah, giving away spit blocks, selling them. Selling them is actually a really good way to go if people, if you have the ability to get it sold. Selling it is my favorite way because obviously it's nice to make a little bit of money back on your waste. And back in the day, I was able to pull in about, I don't know, 120 bucks on a like a pickup load, and the pickup load would be about a steamer run, so if each, basically 120 bucks would pay for a significant portion of that run. if not more. So it was actually nice because on the waste you would get the money as well, to handle that, to help offset your cost and pay for it. Even contaminated blocks can be given away for compost. Um, as you guys saw in there, I even had probably some moldy blocks and stuff sitting aside. And the this shirt always wants to show that white mesh for some reason. Yeah, it's like you get to give away moldy blocks, which is actually good for gardens. I mean, like a lot of times the mold we're working with is trichoderma, and trichoderma is actually used as a soil amendment. So it actually works out really, really well. Get a super bag and dump the spit blocks into along with coffee ground. If you mean like a super sack, we've definitely done that. I don't like that method. Samantha does it. I see what you're saying though. That's her method, and it's not my favorite because it leaks. And you will see actually. I think the next segment I've got is about our current composter setup, Rose. So you'll get to see that in action. Fair warning here on the next segment, and I'll give another fair warning when it actually comes up. It's full of squiggly little worms and stuff. So if you don't like worms, you may not want to look at it. But we'll get to that here in a minute. That composter setup works really, really well. Makes mushroom compost. Yeah, she did the super sacks, and the super sacks worked well. But my problem was that they just leaked water. I mean, because it's just like a net bag. And so because they leaked water, I don't know, it just didn't make me happy. We had like a brown stain constantly coming from not the IVC tote, the super sack, and it kind of left a stain across the parking lot. And so it wasn't, my favorite thing. Plus you had to water it far more often. Some of the other stuff we'll get in here, you'll see, I like it. I feel like they're a little bit more efficient. They're a little easier, and they're not quite as messy. So, yeah, absolutely. It's just that it wouldn't leak in one spot. It's like the whole bag is mesh, and so it would leak all the way around it. So you'd have to put like a big pan or something, which is possible to do. But I'll show you what we've done. Okay, fair warning. I'll just go ahead and play it so people can see it since we're already on the topic. But and Maiko, this is Ogre. This is you were talking about the bugs, so we're gonna go with it. So if you guys don't like squiggly little worms or larvae or grubs or whatever, maybe don't look at this part. Okay, so another thing that we can do with spent substrate, contaminated. Sorry about that. It seemed like it was paused. Okay, y'all. So we're going to talk a lot about spent substrate and whatnot. There's my pile of shame. But here's the first. Okay, not that one. Let's try that again. Okay, so another thing that we can do with spent substrate, contaminated, anything like that, is I actually farm bugs with it. Needed a little bit of cleaning up. Normally the whole top is squirming, but where we're having this cold snap, they're sinking. But these are black soldier fly larvae, and they exist in here by the thousands. So I feed it garden scraps. There is spent substrate. There's even a reishi block. Hey, we should go check that reishi block. Why are you not focusing? We should go check that reishi block. I put cardboard in here because the black soldier flies like to lay their eggs in the corrugation. And so I always just try to throw a piece of, nothing with slick printing or anything like that. It's got to be corrugated. I collect drippings from the bottom. We'll oftentimes put this up high with a forklift and then collect. Alrighty. Put food waste. I've got friends. Excuse me. That put their compost in here. And here's some cardboard breaking down. Ooh, look at that. That is some squigglage. Squiggly, squiggly. It's very easy to collect these things because they like to stay on the top. So, I mean, if I wanted to... Ooh, that feels weird on my hand. But if I wanted to, I could siphon through all that. But these guys are slated right now for a bag to freeze. And then after I freeze them, they're going to get dehydrated. Freezing is just the kindest way to kill them en masse. And then what I'll do is I'll put them to, after they're dried, to cordyceps. Now this is reishi. I was wondering, I mean, you hear that? Reishi's pretty hard, so I wanted to see if they would just eat it. Oh my gosh, that block is so light. Whoa, okay. They do eat reishi blocks. It seems like they're scalping it of the leathery pieces. Interesting. What are you doing here? You're not running. Oh, I think you're molting. Yeah, you're turning into a fly. Look at this. People don't realize, I mean, the other day my son and I piled this up to where it was up above the bars. And then we just keep throwing kitchen and garden scraps around all the blocks. Like I said, the corrugation, which the blocks seem to eat on. And then I guess the black soldier fly larvae are eating them too. But, I mean, look at this. It's just this whole thing is a seething mass. And what I can do is collect this. I don't care if there's a little bit of detritus. Oh, that feels so weird. But these organisms are so cool. So summertime, black soldier fly larvae. Through the wintertime, we do the vermicomposting. So we'll do an updated video in the wintertime. But this turns into some rich stuff. Actually, let's, real quick before I end this, let's just dig down a little bit. So here's an eggplant. They didn't really want to eat it at first, so I scored it because it was a fresh eggplant. And as soon as I scored it, within a couple of minutes, they were all squeezed into the cracks. All right, let's dig down because this is mostly fresh stuff. I should have brought a tool out here to do that with. So there's a mold layer. Ooh, it's hot. And I will say they like it. They like it really hot like that. So there's still mycelium. There we go. Gotten down to the rotten layer now. So it's already starting to turn to mush and frass. Got some other squiggles in there. I'm going to add some oxygen, I think, to this bed. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a shaft right down the center. And then probably just put a solar pump on it to oxygenate it. So it just will do it throughout the day. But hopefully that'll get... which has a little battery. It's like a solar panel, a battery, and then a pump. And then it can run all night at a weaker rate. But I think that's going to be a good way to go, is just run oxygen through it. But this thing produces tons and tons of insect frass and compostable material for us. And it just kind of builds and builds, and it's got like a liquid layer that we'll siphon off. Then when it starts getting cold and the black soldier fly stop working, I'll throw worms in there, and then this will self-heat because it's composting, so there'll be a worm layer and a compost layer that's working. Excellent. All right. So, it looks like you guys got a little excited about that. What do we say? Oh, heck yeah. Oh, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy, dude, and it feels super weird on your hands. Do you add any worms to the bin? Yeah, so I'll show hopefully some worms, I think, in some other video. But it, like I was saying in that video there towards the end, I think, I absolutely add like red wrigglers to... Sorry, I keep forgetting to look at the camera. I'm looking at stuff down here on my desk. I forget to... Shoot. In the winter time, I add worms. Yes, red wrigglers. because they don't. The black soldier flies like the heat, and instead of trying to, that's something I'm trying to get away from in farming. Is I want to go back to being more seasonal and intentional. And I feel like there are things that are good to do all year round. I'm all for that. And mushrooms, indoor mushrooms, are actually one of those things that I think are a good thing to do all year round. But I like the plants and the worms and the things like being a much simpler kind of cycle that I don't have to manage as hard because I can kind of take advantage of the seasonal swings. So I absolutely do worms, and I love vermi composting. And actually, we'll go through all my vegetation bins, like all the plant life bins, and our little raised gardens and stuff. I'll go through all that, but I have so many red wrigglers on site. I've actually had several people. One person who used to be in the commercial bait business tell me, dude, you need to just start selling bait because you have so much. You literally could just have bait available regularly. I'm right here on the way to the lake. Like, it makes sense to be able to sell live bait. We're also doing there's a lot of things going on here at this warehouse that we can talk about at some point. And I think I talk about it in one of the videos that we're going to watch. But one of the things is we're like putting in a plant nursery. We're putting in hopefully a grains and feed store. We're going to be selling obviously mushroom plants from there, but we're also, it's a way for us to be able to sell our wine caps and our shiitake logs and oyster log. Like, I'm going to sell it all. We'll also have our extracts and everything else that we normally sell and have a little farm store, that kind of stuff. But it will be very seasonal, all of it, other than the mushrooms. We'll be able to do indoor mushrooms, but even the mushrooms nowadays, like, I've been doing seasonal mushrooms for a long time. I change my strains as I go throughout the year. Colder temps allow me to grow colder things. In the heat, I grow fewer things. For a couple of months in the highest summer, sometimes I will shut down. We've done that a couple of years in a row. This year, we've kept the grow room going, but at a very, really light pace and clip. Almost nothing really going into it except breeding material and some extract grows. So I like the seasonal stuff, and I absolutely love red wrigglers. Corey or Falcon. What's up, Myco Nerd? Thank you. Robert, Mr. Greenfingers Thomas. Good stuff. Thank you. So you run black soldier fly larvae in the summer and wigglers in the winter. Yes, that is absolutely what I do. And it works super well. Like, the worms we try to for the red worms, we try to add a little bit like cardboard, shredded cardboard and stuff like that. They seem to like that a lot more. The black soldier fly larvae don't seem to care. Like, as long as their environment is hot, they don't seem to care. And I will say, like, when I showed that was this morning, and we're going through a cool snap, but like when it's hot, really hot outside, they will come to the top, and it's just absolutely seething. In fact, the hot days are when it's easy to just go out there and just scoop a bunch up, freeze them, and then dehydrate them. And then the idea going forward, actually, and I haven't done this yet. I got to order some. I got a budget for some cordyceps cultures, but I want to get a few different cordyceps cultures in. And then my plan through this winter or fall, winter, and spring is to run cordyceps off of the black soldier fly larva. I'm even going to try off red wrigglers. We'll see what red wrigglers do. But the idea is to see if I can powder the black soldier fly larva, and then maybe mix them with rice powder, do them by themselves a few different ways, and grow cordyceps. I was reading some interesting studies that were done on cordycepin, and they come to find out that a lot of times the insect-grown Cordyceps militaris usually had higher amounts of cordycepin. So I've never had that many larvae, man. That's great. Thank you very much, Green Table. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, this year has been a particularly good year, I will admit. But this is only my second year doing this. Before that, I've always just noticed them in my pile, under my rabbits, under my quail, that kind of stuff. They'll just live in those piles and churn them up for me. I'm actually thinking about making my personal logo a black soldier fly larva, because, man, these things are so cool and they're super important to the ecosystem. Actually, I don't know that much about them. I do know the adult phase is basically just wings, eyes, and genitalia and fat reserves. They have no mouth, no way to excrete. So they basically just, the males will just sit there, wait for a female to go by, and then just genetic missile. I do know that part, and I know that the black soldier larva will eat meat right off the bone. It's freaky to watch. They will eat corn on the cob. They'll eat grain. They'll eat eggplant. They'll eat sweet potato vines. They'll eat mushroom substrate. It's crazy. Hey, I've been trying to find ways to use my spit substrate. I guess I'm at the right place. Tater, you are at the right place. There's a bunch of people in the chat here, too, that have been using some stuff. So maybe you'll see some of that going on. But, yeah, cheers, everybody. Like Mr. Greenfingers. Like, I don't know why. It's a cool name. I get it. But it's just like, Mr. Greenfingers. I don't know. I just thinking of something. Leftovers from cleaning a rabbit. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I've ever done that. I've done quail. But if they'll eat quail, they'll eat rabbit, I'm sure. And it's really interesting to see how fast they do it and how much they prefer it. Like when you add it to it, like the whole bin just shifts towards the meat. Like just like go out there 10 minutes later. I've actually got a video where I threw corn on the cob. Like people had eaten corn on the cob. We threw in some in there. And I came back like 5 minutes later, and I was just surprised. The whole mass of corn on the cob was just seething. And not just from the bottom, which is the way they normally work. And they don't normally come up to the surface and eat at the surface. They wait for it to be buried. Not the corn, man. They had to hit it, and they had gone all the way around it, and they were like going straight down into the corn with that like little butt going like this. Just it was freaky looking. So, but after that, guys, there won't be anything. There might be a few red wrigglers or something in some soil. There might be some ants and aphids and things like that. I don't know, like what all is going to be in there. But from the rest of the stream, unless we go back and show that video again, should not have any squigglies or wrigglies or anything like that. So anyone who's got like I've had some comments on posting some of this stuff and how people do not like the squigglies and the wrigglies. My family's back. So Teddy's going crazy. Teddy. They've been at the grocery store. But yeah, I mean, they will eat meat for sure. Hello. Welcome home. Where's everybody else? They didn't make it. What'd you say, Aislinn? They're what? Unloading their stuff. Gotcha. Thank you. Oh man, Teddy is he's always so happy when people come home. Teddy, that's enough. Well, I'm gonna say hi to my family real quick. I'm gonna let you guys watch the next segment. All right. So another thing is turn spent substrate, this is old shiitake blocks, into plant matter. I mean, let's just back up. This is sweet potato vine. And you can see the sweet potato vine has gone wild, which I actually have to cut it back pretty regularly and throw it in there. So this is after it's been cut back pretty often. I've got roses and hyssops and even the sunflowers have been growing in here. You get down to the bottom and you can see old substrate. And of course there's going to be all kinds of roots, so it's going to be kind of hard to get through. But these plants love this stuff. So, and then what we do is we actually we have water that gets added every day from our shop vacs to these tubs. It doesn't really look like it, but this is 2 different tubs with roses and crap, I forgot, hibiscus. That's my daughter's hibiscus. Zinnias, of course, sweet potato vine, and this one I've kind of let go a little crazier because I found a bunch of praying mantises in it. But these tubs were literally just tubs. Even got some sedum. I'm not going to be doing the sweet potatoes next year, but oh man, this is nice and cool. Look at that. worms, roots, dark, highly organic matter. We've got this rose, looks like it could be doing a little bit better, but that's all new growth. It actually looked like it was dying the other day, but it's a white rose. We got some of my favorite mints, which are the mojito mints. But all of this stuff was just blocks that were thrown in last year. Well, the year before, and then we just keep adding new blocks on top. And then it rots over the winter time, and we plant in the spring. And those zinnias were actually, they're volunteers now. So we just constantly get zinnias, and Samantha's got an endless supply of cut flowers. We do these I call them like artificial chinampas. It's just a watering tray, like a concrete tray. And then what we do, I don't even know if we'll be able to find any. Well, it's mostly rotted down into just mulm. But there were blocks, so you can see some of the old oats left. But we just threw blocks, like a block into each one of these tubs, and then filled it full of water. And I've got aquatic plants, like, got rushes, we have pickerel rush, bloody docks, wapatos, these arrowhead or arrow leaf looking ones. And then I put peppers in buckets. And my peppers have done really well. I planted my peppers very late this year, and it hasn't mattered. They're going just absolutely crazy. Oh, water irises. So, actually, next year we're going to be turning this whole parking lot, so over the winter time, and just be ready by spring. This whole thing is going to become a plant nursery. And I don't, over there, of course, that's Man O' War stuff, so they've got their loading. You know, we got to keep it clear for trucks. But all of this, these are duck potatoes. I have water chestnuts, water irises, water lilies over here. All of this, my tomatoes looked terrible all year. They all got curly leaf, really bad. But we've got figs growing in tubs. Oh gosh, I guess I should have harvested some figs. So this tub has suffered a little bit. It got a big wasp nest on it, and I decided to let the wasps just live out their days. So it's getting water and stuff now, but there we go. They were really gentle, so I wasn't worried about them, and my tomatoes were already not doing well. The eggplant has been doing killer. But yeah, that's all spent substrate. This is all spent substrate, and the wapato that's been in it. I'm gonna dig with my right hand since I've already dirty. But this stuff, you keep it wet, and it's just blocks, and it just becomes this muck like you would see in a bog or a swamp, which is perfect for these aquatic plants. One thing that people don't really think about with aquatic plants is that they love like marshy soil. It's got a lot of organic matter in it. Well, mushroom blocks are just organic matter, and they're already starting to rot. Actually, it smells pretty good. This was a good clean rot. I even get some grasses that want to live in here, but what I normally do with the grasses is just take them and I just throw these in the composter, the bug unit. And this roughage, thankfully the wintertime I won't be producing as much roughage, but this roughage, they'll eat it. Now, I'm not sure so much about like seed heads and stuff, like if they're going to eat the seeds. So we should actually stick this down here and then check it later, make sure they're eating the seeds. My plan is to, for the most part, sterilize blocks that come out of that for stuff for stuff I'm selling, except for living soil. So this is going to be a little bit longer, I know, than my normal live stream asides, but these trays right here actually have blocks. I don't know if you guys saw the shorts and stuff I produced. I may have done it on a live stream before. But like all of this plant matter is growing off spent substrate. This is literally just a shiitake block I threw in here. You can still see some of the shiitake block form right here. And it's hard, but you can see the plants. I took a knife and just cut right down the middle, and plants are taken up into that. And once you get the plants going in, they start sending in roots and it starts breaking up the block. And then, like, there are worms in here too. I don't know how long I'll have to dig before we find where they're at, because when the water floods during the day, they move around. Let's see. There, you can still see some of the sawdust. So this stuff is still breaking down. And as it breaks down, all season, it feeds all this plant life, all this duckweed. I can actually just scoop the duckweed off the surface. I've got a little net that I like to do it with. But that right there goes to the bugs. I've heard you can actually ferment this and eat this yourself, or you can eat it cooked or whatever, but I've not really tried duckweed much. Just kind of played around with it. You know, we get so many different plants. We have, look at that, dwarf papyrus, parrot's feather. Parrot's feathers are an attractive one for ponds and the like. Sedges, spiders. Come on, Spooter. Spooter. Ooh. Hope no one's scared of spiders. Another one right here. But this is sweet flag. Tastes a lot like ginger. So we're doing mainly edibles. Got my peppers, water spinach. Just planted this one the other day, and this one I keep cutting and keep cutting. But I planted this late in the year. But water spinach tastes like spinach, and it's got a nice pop because of the hollow stem. This is like my favorite new pepper, Pippin's Golden Honey. And when it's ready, it takes on this orangey gold color. Sweet, thick-walled, not a lot of seeds, easy to process, really tasty. Pickerel rush, gorgeous flowers, and it attracts all kinds of pollinators. I don't even know what that one is. So, as you guys can see, spent substrate, especially once it's mixed with water, can go a long way, and you can produce a lot of plants. I'd actually have a lot more. I'm just out of containers. I got to get more containers. Oh, look. If you don't like spiders, just look away. But look, she's bouncing. I don't even, normally they do that when they feel threatened or something, but I don't see anything that would be threatening her. I love my little gorgeous babies. Oh, there's a couple, looks like predatory wasps flying over there. I wonder if they tried to go after her. Got my tobacco and aloe and blueberries and columbines. Yeah, this one has got a crack in the bottom and we didn't know till too late. Got lotuses. More tomato with curly leaf. I just never have luck with tomatoes anymore. So, yeah, you can make a garden paradise with a little bit of water and mushroom blocks. All right. That one was a little longer. I didn't realize I should have cut that one into two. My current experiment is to personally check out the synergy of rabbits, mushrooms, and worms. I know it will all feed together nicely, but I want to experiment with the workflow and efficiency. Yeah, man. There's a lot of different ways that you can go. So rabbit manure is actually pretty good for a lot of the dung lovers. And I don't just mean actives. I mean like agaricuses, like portobellos and things like that. Because the rabbit manure breaks apart so quickly. It composts so quickly. And you can use compost and straw a lot of times to grow some of these agaricuses. And I've wondered about mixing spent mushroom substrate that like oysters have gone through, and then doing that and with the rabbit manure, right? Because the oyster will have already eaten the, and it's frozen again. I don't know if it's frozen for you guys, so I don't know what to do when it freezes. Like, it's, what do I do with my hands? Oh, it goes black every time, and then here in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, see, and then it goes right back. I don't know. There's like there's a minor bug for some reason with this software in particular. No, it's not OBS. OBS, I never had a problem with. It's StreamYard. It's I'm going. It's I don't know. Anyways, sorry about that, guys. So what I was saying is the oyster mushrooms will have eaten the spent substrate, and they'll break down the lignin. And then I'm thinking that if you take that, crumble it up, add some rabbit manure, make sure it's hydrated to the right amount, so you can take the oyster blocks, break them apart, sun dry them, take them, put them all back together. Rabbit manure, compost. I prefer compost over raw rabbit manure. But you take all that stuff, you mix it together, add a little bit of water, sterilize it, and then you can add like portobellos and stuff to it. But you can also add other dung lovers. There's the almond agaricus, which I think would do really well with that kind of substrate as a way to like make a mother patch to put out there. So, and then I've wondered, but I haven't had rabbits in a long enough time to check since I've had this idea. But I would like to take like a small piece, like take a couple rabbits, and then just offer them some oyster mushroom spent substrate, not like contaminated or gross or anything like that, but some fresh stuff, and then see if they will break that down. Because I've heard a lot about feeding to ruminants, pink oyster mushroom spent substrate. So ruminants and chickens, and I know a lot of people who feed their spent substrate to chickens, and I wish I could, like, we're going to have to talk about that because I can't show that, and I didn't think about it ahead enough time to see if they would get me video and send it to me, if Bryce would. But there's a lot of people who do that, so there's absolutely a way to work these things together. Now, I do feel like chickens fit better than rabbits, even though I prefer rabbits over chickens. But the chickens will eat the worms. And so, but if we can do cordyceps on red wrigglers, which I don't know if anybody's ever tried, but red wrigglers are so cheap, so easy, and they eat spent mushroom substrate. So I'm wondering, like, there's got to be, they're pretty soft-bodied, like a lot of larvae are. So I don't know, and they're pretty lean. I don't think they're as super high in fat. So I don't know. Maybe cordyceps needs fat, but anyways, there's all kinds of systems and plug and play, things that we can do. And this is the way I prefer to do things. Like I don't actually like being I don't want to be a huge monocrop farm. I've definitely wanted to work my way into how do I, like, when I first got started, I was growing everything to feed my family. So I don't want to be a huge, like, I don't know. Yeah, anyways, real quick, I know we got some more comments to get to. I will get to them when I get back. But I do need to, it's already been almost an hour, so I need to do one of my sponsors. Let's pick me.
Introducing the future of mycology, Dr. Silurian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery. This isn't your average culture mix. It's a revolution in a packet, crafted for the dedicated cultivator seeking unparalleled growth. Experience the visual alchemy of this masterful brew. As you mix 10 grams with 500 milliliters of water, watch the solution transform into a rich, amber spectacle, the hallmark of a nutrient-dense sanctuary for your burgeoning mycelium. This is where vibrant color meets vibrant life, setting our elixir apart from the ordinary clear liquid cultures. Prepare to be captivated. Mix 10 grams of Dr. Silurian's elixir with 500 milliliters of water, add a stir bar for thorough integration, and sterilize the blend at 15 psi for 45 minutes. Once cooled, introduce your favorite culture into this perfectly prepared, nutrient-rich environment. Watch in awe as the elixir works its magic, unveiling a mycelial masterpiece before your eyes. Choose Dr. Silurian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery for a mycological adventure that's as visually enchanting as it is potent.
All right, we're back. I choose me. Third Kingdom, what's going on, George and Jen? I just got home from delivery, so glad I was able to jump in and catch part of this. Like, hey, man and lady, I'm not sure who posted that, but either way, you're both welcome. So, speaking of, actually, guys, I don't know. I assume you guys are okay with me saying it, but they're part of our strain tester network, and the people doing the mentorship this week are actually our like our southeast choice. I guess it's southeast. But wait, yes, I think so. Anyways, they're one of our other strain testers that are here for the mentorship, so it's super cool. Is that 100% spit substrate, no soil or anything else added? Yeah. Yeah, no soil added. I mean, as far as anything else, like we keep adding more blocks. I think in the bins, the big tubs with the terrestrial plants, we did kind of a modified hugel culture. We piled up a bunch of logs, wine cap kits, some brush, I think, on top of that. And then just filled it full of spent blocks and spent blocks and spent blocks and spent blocks. The first year, it rotted down like a foot, and then the next year we added more, and every year it rots down a little less. So, yeah, we're just trying to use as much spent substrate as possible. There's food scraps added, as you saw in the bug thing, but as far as and I think we added like eggshells and stuff from our quail to the bins as well, but I can't remember, or if we just had some food scraps go on top. Hey, look. Ghost is grooming her baby. I've been trying to sling some kittens on the live stream. I've not had any takers yet. Actually, I think we may have found... yeah, we're not going to ship kittens. But did you say that there's probably a home for that little black and white one? Don't know? Okay. At Mike Ogre, we mix our rabbit waste with the spent blocks for garden compost, and we actually just finished building our shed for worm farm. Seems like the next logical step. Hey, we should all talk to them, because I know Ogre is definitely... Oh, yeah, he's commenting later on. And guys, yeah, I'm sorry. I told you I didn't think there would be anything else, but I forgot about the close-ups of the spiders. So hopefully nobody got scared. That's a nice one. You talking about the spider cliff? I'm sorry. Just doing their job, eating the bad bugs. Okay, I was thinking that was right at the spiders. Do you do anything with a tobacco plant? So yeah, I mean, I have cigars or a pipe occasionally. This will be probably a little bit of what I'll do is I'll take the tobacco, I'll cure it in like some homemade wine or with homemade wine, and then we'll go from there. First, I'll see if Jackie wants any, Jackie or Tristan. Once I get it dried or whatnot, I don't think Tristan's going to be interested in it, but Jackie, I think he still is into herbalism and the native culture and stuff. So, it's like they use that for prayers, and they don't like to just use any old tobacco. And so I try to grow that in mushroom compost, and I'll give them some. Jackie being my former farm manager when I was growing commercially. I grew a native nicotine tobacco plant, but didn't do anything with it. It self-seeded and started growing all over. That's pretty cool. The tobacco plant that you actually saw in this one, I wasn't planning on growing tobacco this year because it was such a pain last year. Not growing the tobacco. I find growing tobacco and spent mushroom substrate to be like the easiest thing in the world, and you get the biggest, most beautiful plants. The problem was everyone driving by, stopping in, asking me if I was selling tobacco starts. Could they have the tobacco plants? One day Samantha went out there and there was a guy just picking leaves off my tobacco plants out front. And Samantha's like, you can't do that. And he's like, oh, you guys want this? And it's like, yeah, that's why we grew it. In large part last year, I did want to keep some, but I grew it. Like people kept trying to get me to top it, but I didn't want to top it. I was growing it for those big pink flowers that tobacco has. Tobacco is such a beautiful plant. And they get these beautiful pink showy flowers at the top, especially this, what I've been growing has been Tennessee 86, but it grows great in the spent mushroom sub. Like, in fact, this plant, what I was saying is I didn't plant any this year. This one was found in a crack in the parking lot. And I just thought, oh, well, I don't want to kill it. I guess I'll save it. So I pulled it out and planted it in a bucket, and then it took off and really started growing. But yeah, tobacco is a tough little plant. I've been really surprised at just how well it does. Yeah, for sure. I'm using spent sub as a base to grow grass treats for the bunnies. Oh, that's a neat idea. Doing fodder for them with it. Okay. Then feeded the rooted mycelial cake to the worm bins. Yeah, I like this. Okay, I see you. I see where you're going with this. I like this system. Um, interesting. There's some interesting ideas to be able to be done with that, even from an aquatic standpoint. We are super pumped. Culture's looking great. Hey, I'm glad we're about to send out the second one. Actually, I've got a ton of Patreon rewards we're getting out as well. Still chipping away at those. And then I've got a bunch of other cultures I want to get sent out to the tester network. So let's go ahead and hit the next one. Okay, that seems to really want to work. Okay, that's not working on my end. Let me remove these. And let me see if I can get... I think I may have overtaxed it. Okay, that's just not going to work. I'm going to re-upload this really quick. Let's remove one more. We'll just do this one at a time because it says I don't... It's working hard. This poor little program. They just did an update, and it's been working really hard. Yeah, we're going to upload that again. I think it's 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, let's just try this one then. All right. One other thing that we can do with spent blocks that a lot of people don't really utilize or think about, even though I've done it many, many, many times, is you can make logs with spent blocks. You just use it like sawdust spawn, cut your holes, and hammer that sawdust spawn in with your plug tool, or your sawdust plug tools. I guess not plug, your sawdust tools. So yeah, it's one of those things that you can take one of these if it looks good. So like one of those over there. Oh my gosh, nothing will. There we go. And then just pop your holes. Use your log inoculation tool. Set it aside. We had them in the shade just the other day. But I'm about to saw some of these open, and you can use those to inoculate logs. I've used them for classes and all kinds of stuff. Aggressive stuff like oysters and hericium works amazingly well fresh out of the grow room. You don't want it too old because then it goes soft. Self-cocked on that one. And that's all we're going to say about that last one. Let's see. How much LC would I add to 500 milliliters for Dr. Solarian's premix? That'd be 10 grams. So 10 grams out of a 100 gram pack, you get 10, 500 milliliter jars out of a single 100 gram pack. We also sell it in a 500 gram pack and a 300 gram pack. So there's a lot. Hey, there's the Doom Kitty. Ugh. There we go. Doom Kitty. Oh, I've got some black. Is that grease on my finger? Hope not. But Doom Kitty. Doom Kitty is currently looking for a home. So, real quick, guys, I want to just do the save 20% on everything with our site with Spent 20. That is 20% off our site. You guys use it, abuse it. You're welcome to it. So you are definitely going to enjoy some Dr. Slerian's Elixir of Mycelial Mastery, a superb LC premix, but 20% off. I have a really hard time putting out the advertising myself. I always feel weird doing it. But yeah, that short little video was a may or may not have been a new log inoculation tool that I asked Ben to work on, and Ben worked on. So we'll see how that comes out. Hoping to do some really cool stuff. We're looking at a lot of cool things for logs, which I'm pretty stoked about. So that will help with anyone who wants to do like outdoor growing or homesteading kind of grows, or anarchist grows, or even I want to do this and I haven't done this yet, but I really have been thinking about doing a video series for Mossy Creek Mushrooms channel, doing how would you say it, a apocalypse, microbiologist in the apocalypse. It's kind of like but I haven't decided to do. I want to do it a narrative style. So do we going to do like I was out in the, I was staring out the window having my coffee when the world stood still, right? And then you can go out and you can do all these things, or do I just want to be like, here's what I would do in the apocalypse, and here's what I would do in the apocalypse. But yeah, there's how I do all the gardening and everything else. Just real quick on that code, guys, it's spent 20 for 20% off. So don't forget to like and subscribe as well. As far as like the spent blocks in logs, I've actually had really, 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 really good success with that. It has been surprising to me just how well it works, considering that you would think spent blocks being dirty, but I think that it being a log is such a self-selective substrate that the spent substrate works really well. And I've done this with oysters, hericium, enoki. I haven't done it with reishi yet, but I am very much assuming reishi would work. I don't know how well you can stab through a block of reishi, like a block once it's spent. Like, because once it's spent, it's got that leathery shell on it, so I don't know if that would actually do too well. Maybe if you can bust it open and get to the softer material on the inside, maybe that would work so well. So, I think that would probably work, actually. Then maybe you can get like a tool to just split them open. I bet a bandsaw has always worked for me for cutting the reishi blocks open. We've done about 150 cords with spent blocks so far. Nice. That's a lot, actually. It's a fair amount. I do like I don't know. I like every couple of years I'll buy a few cords of wood for the fire pit out here and charcoal making and just that kind of stuff. But I don't know how many really logs I've actually done. So do it. Oh, for talking about the microbiologist in the apocalypse, do it like a log or audio diary. Day 0, the bombs fell around us, sirens blared, and the first thing I knew I would need is my magical bioprospectors kit. Insert link here. You even got it. You get the self-aggrandizement with it too, or the self-promotion with it. There we go. It's Jen. George would be down for the apocalypse pseudo scenario. He loves survival. Me too. I do too. I think a lot of mushroom people do. It's actually interesting. A lot of mushroom people that I've met come from the prepper side. Though I don't know if prepper still has the same connotations now, right? Now that we've been through some stuff. But I've met so many mushrooms. I mean, I was always like I want to be as self-reliant as possible and resilient, and I want to have a food storage and that kind of stuff. So I've definitely always been that way. So almost every mushroom farmer I've met has some sort of like self-reliance oriented nature to them. Let's see. I've got to get the other video uploaded as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be the 5th one. That one's a really short one, I know. So 100% very in line, homesteading and self-sufficient. It's in our DNA. Yeah, and I mean, mushroom farming or growing at the very least, I feel like it really speaks to that. It really, it's a skill set you can attain, and that's a big thing for I know a lot of prepper people, self-reliance people, back to the landers, even eco people. The ability to gain new skills seems to be very paramount for a lot of people, and I think in part it's a I don't know. To me, it just feels more human, right? More human is to gain more skills, to do more things, to learn these things, to provide for my family, that kind of stuff. So, and I feel like especially in this day and age, a lot of us feel like with the social media crush and the just constant, like there's just constant notifications, there's constant everything, and I feel like a lot of people just feel very like dehumanized in a way. And so I feel like a lot of people are reaching back out for that humanness. I know I am. Okay, it's a shadow. I thought that was a cat. Hey, bud. It's fine with me if it's okay with your mom. But your mom's entirely in charge. Your mom said yes? Okay, I was going to say your mom is entirely in charge while I'm doing a live stream. What? Oh, hug, love you. Leave the live stream? You don't want to be on? Tell you what, we'll be right back right after the word from our sponsor. Hey folks, welcome to another sponsorship for the Mushroom Cast. We're always talking about dialing in your grow setup, and when it comes to humidity, there's one name we trust, House of Hydro. These foggers are an absolute game changer for mushroom cultivation. House of Hydro's ultrasonic humidifiers put out an incredibly fine, cool mist. So fine, in fact, that mycelium can actually uptake it straight from the air. That means better hydration, better growth, happier mushrooms, and better yields. And let me tell you, these things are way easier to vent around your op than setting up full-on plumbing pressure systems. No pipes, no hassle, just perfect humidity right where you need it. And when you're working with the best, you want the best support. John at House of Hydro takes care of his customers better than anyone in the game. If you ever need help, they've got you covered. And because House of Hydro is sponsoring the Mushroom Cast, we've got a deal for you. Use code Mossy at checkout, and you'll get a full set worth of free replacement discs with your order. It's up to a $50 value. Get yourself a House of Hydro fogger. Your mushrooms will thank you. Keep spawning culture, y'all. Welcome back. My boy he wanted to leave, but he didn't want to, he didn't want to be on stream, which I think is just fine. 100% very in line. Oh, yep, got that. It's definitely a system that builds upon itself and plays well with other things. I mean, yeah, it's the whole thing with mushrooms, right? Is that now, I mean, I'm not one of these people that's like, be like the mushrooms and connect with each other, because mushrooms connect with each other in terrible ways sometimes. So it depends on what mushrooms. You should be specific. Mushrooms are not just because you felt good on a trip one time does not mean that mushrooms are all about connection and community. But they even like the great thing about nature is that even their awful cruel things can be quite yeah, you can, as long as you don't mind being on the stream. Love you too, baby. Be safe, be good. But yeah, it's even their cruel things end up providing a service, and that's one of the nice things. I mean, they call the honey mushroom a meadow maker because it kills the trees, and that doesn't sound very nice, and it's not nice for the trees, but it's nice for the meadow and that kind of stuff. So. But I guess I got off on a tangent there. But yeah, mushrooms can be cruel, but the skill set plays well with other things. The services they provide play well with other things. So yeah, I mean, it's. I don't get me wrong. I love social media. I love the internet. I love so much about Modernity, I probably wouldn't be alive, without modernity and modern medical science. Like, I love the fact that all these things exist. Excuse me, I got a kind of a runny nose. But at the same time, it comes at a price. And that price is very much like a kind of a dehumanizing feel sometimes. Like, I feel like a lot of people are very desperate for that human connection. I found out wife is so still fun. Well, welcome, Ogre. Hopefully you didn't miss the stuff where I was talking to you. All right, let's see what this last little short video will do for us if it uploaded properly. All right, so something we have is like every now and then we'll have the occasional busted bag out of the autoclave. And so I'll just take this. I do not understand why it is so difficult to get the camera to focus today. Thank you, Brody. And the fresh stuff, I don't mind putting in, like fresh from the autoclave, because like right now I gotta go do lab work in a little bit, so I don't want to touch any of this like contaminated stuff. But something you can do with busted blocks. They break down really nice and they keep the smell down. What could we inoculate besides logs? I mean, you could do like straw beds. I've seen people do all kinds of stuff, but the less lignin you have, the more likely it is to contaminate. So I've seen people take like spent blocks and then use that to inoculate like straw bales and do the straw bale grows. What are they called? The totems, that's still logs. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff that you can inoculate. The little kittens being distracted. Let's see. Sorry. Another thing that you could use, actually, and I should have showed it in that video. I did, but I use the blocks like for fish filters and stuff. So, but that's I don't know. I really wouldn't go much more than straw and logs. You can do, if you've got like a soil-borne fungus, you can do mother patches with that. But a lot of those won't actually take well to culture inside. Chickens love busted bags too, especially the grain. So that's actually something I wanted to talk about was, oh man, that sunset looks gorgeous. But the excuse me, the goat panels that people use. When I say goat panels, it's like a giant hardware cloth, right? It's just like wire fencing. It's got holes about that big. Those, a guy up here in Northeast Tennessee uses those. He'll like go dumpster diving and go get fresh veggies and all kinds of stuff out of like Whole Foods dumpster and whatnot, or certain restaurants that'll let him take this stuff. He then, and he's very picky about what he takes, but he takes all that stuff. He's got a mushroom farm. He'll take the mushrooms and he piles them in that hardware cloth, and it's like spent mushroom substrate waste, from the food waste, spent mushroom substrate food waste, and he builds that up. And he's got like these chicken tractors. He just pulls over it, and then they scratch all the way down through that. They eat all the weeds around and the fresh grass and whatnot down to the roots, and they till it all up, and they poop in there really nice. They spread it out. They kill everything bug wise, and then he'll while they're eating all that, he's working on the next one. And I guess he's got multiples of these going now. And what he found was he used to then take that and then just plant directly into that, right? And that would be his produce. So he'd grow produce and sell it at the farmer's market. He'd grow mushrooms and sell it at the farmer's market. And then he'd have eggs. And then, of course, meat for himself, that kind of thing. And then he said that he just found out he doesn't even have to plant he just started having volunteer tomatoes and melons and all kinds of stuff coming up. And he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna let what grows because it's obviously doing well. It's obviously been fertilized and it's just perfect. I sit there looking that looks like the sunset is gorgeous. Here, can I? It's the entire sky like that. Oh, you can't even see that. No, that sucked. Well, whatever. It's an incredible sunset out there right now. But yeah, he did that, and then he created he called this farm like Dumpster Juice Alchemy, which I thought was neat. I don't know if he's got any social media presence. He did at one time, but it's a brilliant system. Very little work to be done. That's cool. Is that from your last one? Yeah. Well, then show me later if you will. I mean, if you want me to show it on here, because I like that one with the heart on it. Yeah, I'm gonna see if it'll show. No, you can kind of see it. So it's a stop sign at night. It's actually a really attractive photo. It doesn't really does. It's got a heart spray painted on it, which to me makes me think of stop in the name of love before you break my. You know what I'm talking about? No, you don't know that song? I'll play it for you sometime. Actually, no, I'll play it for you. But yeah, I love that system that he had. It definitely worked out super, super well. What if we were growing species that didn't eat wood? I mean, okay, so the only thing I can think of there, what would you be growing? Like even cubensis will eat wood. I don't really do a lot with species, unless we're talking like yeast, bacteria, molds, like, for Korean natural farming or kojis, things like that. So that's about the best I can think of right there. Oh, I mean, okay, so maybe if you're doing symbiotic, like mycorrhizal, so like chanterelles, morels, things like that. So I don't know how you would have spent blocks from that though. So, but you could build some sort of block that would. I don't know. You got me thinking. If you are thinking of like actives or something that is more of a compost or dung lover, then what I would think that you could grow those off spent like oyster blocks and things like that. But the spent blocks from that, I would think could still go to bugs and things like that. Oh, wouldn't that be interesting? Cordyceps on gut loaded black soldier fly larva. That's about all I can think of. We have some folks who use cardboard and inoculate some with spent blocks. Okay, so they grow on cardboard. I've always thought about, like, we've used it for spawn before, and I like that use of it, but it always worries me about growing on it. And I think that most cardboard, as long as it's got like vegetable inks on it, it's probably fine. So yeah, if you're doing that, then you could grow just fine. I know people grow off paper waste and things like that as well. It's basically, I think paper waste is mostly just cellulose. Cardboard is probably also, I wonder if cardboard has a lignin content. Saw some videos in another language where a guy was growing patty straw mushrooms. Got you on bundles of banana leaves. Interesting. Okay. I wonder if that was it called Tagalog? Tagalog? Something like that. Because I know that's where they grow a lot of that. Yes, just oysters mostly, but I worry about the glues. My understanding is most of the glues are pretty safe. That would be something to research a little bit more, because I wonder what kinds of toxic glues there are and where they would be found mostly. When I worked at like Colgate, the glue that we used had a natural source, and I'm trying to think of where it was. I think it was an animal byproduct, if I remember correctly, that they used for the cardboard boxes. But I don't know. Oh, then again, the mushrooms tend to clean the toxins out of their environment, so I get real curious about. That's true. They do to a point. So, like, what I'd be worried about is heavy metals. So, pretty much anything like hydrocarbons, things like that, I wouldn't be too worried or concerned about because lignin, like white rot mushrooms, will break that stuff down. But I wouldn't want to grow on oil, like used motor oil or something like that, because of the heavy metals in it alone, or it would be enough of a problem to concern me. Because the problem with heavy metals and mushrooms is that mushrooms are heavy metal feeders. They'll take those heavy metals and concentrate them in their mushrooms. And this is not true of every mushroom of all time, at all points, but that's a generally good rule. And so I would be concerned about heavy metal contamination in particular. Again, like if it's just like there's a little bit of oils and it's like a clean oil, or especially like a food oil, or fats or things like that are in the glues, I'm not really that concerned with that. But we grow an 86% sawdust, but 14% other substrates to grow a variety of mushrooms that don't eat wood. Interesting. I'd be very interested in what you're growing. That would be a mushroom, so like a macro fungi that doesn't eat wood, and what would be commercially relevant. Unless we're talking about like they just generally don't eat wood, but they could. What about dioxins? Oh, that's a good question, Rose. That's actually a really good question. What do white rot fungi do with dioxins? White rot fungi degrade dioxins by using powerful lignin-modifying enzymes like licases and manganese peroxidase, which break down the stable aromatic ring structures of dioxins, transforming them into less harmful metabolites or hydroxydioxins through processes like oxidation and hydroxylation. This bioremediation process helps to remove these persistent organic pollutants from the environment, with specific fungal strains showing effective degradation of even highly chlorinated dioxins. Well, there you go. Not such a concern, probably, after all. Though I would want further research before purposely consuming that. White rot fungi produce lignin-modifying enzymes, which are known for their broad substrate specificity and ability to degrade complex organic compounds. So it was, white rot in particular. And enzymes such as lacase and lignin peroxidases break down the stable aromatic rings of dioxins, which are the key to their persistence in the environment. So it sounds like fungus is our answer to dioxin pollution. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And white rot's what we grow. So almost entirely, except silver leafers is apparently doing 14% something else, which I'm curious about. Unless, well, no, tremella still grows on mushrooms that grow on sawdust. I'm just whirring through my catalog. But that is interesting about the dioxins. Dioxins. Speak, Andrew. What mechanisms do white rot fungi use to degrade pollutants? The fungi secrete a family of peroxidases to catalyze both direct and indirect oxidation of chemicals. Yeah, that's something that I've read up on molecular drilling sometime. It is a fascinating subject. Molecular drilling will absolutely rock your world. Especially when you think about it in the cordyceps. Cordyceps doesn't grow on wood. Is that what I'm missing here? Is that you're growing 14% cordyceps? If that's the case, like, are you asking? What if we were growing? What could we inoculate besides logs? Oh, well, in that case, you could probably, like, I actually was thinking about this earlier. So just so you know, I was thinking, okay, I'm going to take my white rot fungi and I'm going to put them through the bug composter, right? And then I'm going to take these black soldier fly larvae and then I'm going to grow cordyceps on them. And we'll take that cordyceps and we'll turn that into extracts and dry fruit and sell that stuff. I'm going to take the leftover bug cakes, cordyceps cakes. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do with them? I'm going to throw them in the composter. No, that would be bad. I would destroy my whole composter system with that. So I'm glad I thought of that before I did it, because that would have been a very dumb, not well thought out thing to do. So it might be good for micro remediation. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. For especially if you've got like some sort of dioxin pollution somewhere. What is the main source for dioxin? That's a good question. What is the main source of dioxin pollution? Man-made combustion processes, including waste incineration, burning wood, coal, or oil, and some industrial processes like smelting. These processes create dioxins as unwanted byproducts, releasing them into the air where they can travel long distances and contaminate soil, water, and food. While natural events like wildfires and volcanoes also produce dioxins, human-made emissions are considered the dominant source. Okay, I gotcha. All the species we grow were taken from the wild, plant parasites, soil dwellers. Oh, okay, interesting. All right, so you must be doing some research and stuff. I gotcha. Maybe growing some soil. So this is definitely something I've been thinking a lot about. Is in fact, I just cloned some chanterelle, or attempted a clone of chanterelles today, to bring that into the plant tissue culture side where I'm growing the sterile plants. Hopefully, the sterile fungi can bring them together in the lab, and we'll see. I know people are doing it with chanterelles now. I know that there's a guy who's supposedly growing chanterelles, in vitro. I haven't seen that yet, but I heard about it today. Bleaching paper products. Okay, that makes some sense. Have you ever used spit blocks as a fuel source, as in home heating, aka compressed logs? I have not. I bought a biodigester to do this with it. So what's interesting is mushroom blocks. There's a study somewhere I was reading. I can't remember the exact percentage. Maybe it's somewhere between 40 and 60%, if I remember correctly. But it's something like oyster mushrooms in particular, for that study, broke down lignin in 6 weeks by about 40 to 60%. I can't remember what it was. Got a beard here. That is quite a bit of lignin broken down, and there's a lot of now available biomass sitting around, especially in the fungal body, which will break down pretty well in a biodigester kind of. So the interesting idea is to put blocks into, like spent blocks into the biodigester as they come out of the grow room, and then have that produce methane. Now, unfortunately, right as I was about to start using it, I had an employee put a pole right through the biodigester accidentally. I don't know how it worked out. It really made me mad. But you'd have, it's. I want to do it again, so I'm thinking about buying another one at some point and just trialing again. It probably won't be this calendar year because the winter time here is the worst time to set one up, so it probably won't be till next year for the spring or summer. But I do want to do that and use the fuel that way. I've not tried the compressed logs. I will say every time I've ever burnt spent substrate, because I've tried to pyrolyze it into charcoal, which it worked really well, pyrolyzed. I've tried burning it in like shiitake, reishi, that smells like burning hair. It's terrible, and it doesn't want to burn. What I found about fungal wood is that it really just does not like to burn. It will pyrolyze, but you really want to dry it out first before you try to like pyrolyze it into charcoal. But I've not tried it like the compressed logs. I just from what I've seen, I just don't know if it'll burn well. Oh, nice. Okay, I would be very, very interested in that. MMN Media. MMN Media. Modified Melanochrins medium is a type of agar growth medium used to grow cultures of mycorrhizal fungi. Gotcha. MNN Media. Gotcha now. Specific for use for scientific research. So are you just doing it? Have you grown it on like a substrate that's separate from the agar, or are you growing it on the agar itself? That'd be very interesting. Have you fruited them, or have you grown them out to fruition? Because I would be very interested in growing them out to fruition and getting spore prints. Because once we get to that cycle where we start getting spore prints, then we can start directing, selective breeding into easier to fruit indoors, which is what I'm working on right now with pheasants back. Yeah, that stinks. The Biodigester is one of my favorite episodes of Dirty Jobs. Oh, I've not actually seen that episode. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. I love Dirty Jobs. It's an excellent idea. Thank you. I appreciate it. I hope it's an excellent idea, at least in theory. I would like to really see what it does in practice. Where is that reflection coming from? Yeah, it seems like a lot of work for little heat fuel source return. It is, but I mean, you know, well, the nice thing about work is that work can eventually be systematized. So I would definitely maybe not be super laborious about it now, but you can play around with it, prove the point, and then you can work your way from proving your point into systematizing the production into a easy to use system. So, have you tried to pyrolyze knotweed? I have not. I have not tried to pyrolyze knotweed at all. Why would I not pyrolyze knotweed? Is there something special about it? Can you make blocks? Absolutely, you can make blocks into biochar. In fact, what's really, really, really cool about making spit blocks into biochar, should have done that on this episode. I'll do a modified episode. Like I said, there's a couple other ways that I wanted to get to as well. And I didn't have a time to run the kiln today anyways. So you take blocks, like oyster blocks, you crumble them up. Now, there's a couple of things that work here. With fungus, there's a substance called glomulin. Glomulin? One sec. Pretty sure it's glomulin. Glomulin. Glomulin is a protein encoded by the GLMN gene and is essential for the normal development of the vasculature. Mutations in the GML gene are the... Okay, maybe I was wrong about this. This is all about skin and stuff. Soil. Glomulin. Glomulin, so GLOMALIN, is a sticky, stable protein. I put a U there instead of an A. I knew I was wrong. I could tell I was wrong. Is a sticky, stable protein, also known as glomulin-related soil protein, produced by arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi that acts as a superglue to bind soil particles. It improves soil structure, increases water stability, and sequesters carbon. So that's something that's really, really cool about mycorrhizal fungus. Now, that's going on in the soil. Glomulin is that protein that, like I said, it glues stuff together. Now you take a spit block that has the sawdust all through it. So already a lot of surface area. And then you take that, sorry, got an itch and my ADHD kicked in. Oh, you take that and then you add that thread hair-like network all the way through it. And you've seen blocks, and I've got some videos somewhere of on a live stream and a video where you can I'd look at it substrate through a microscope and you just see all the filaments just running through everything. So you take that structure, you dry it out, and then you pyrolyze it. You turn it into a char, and then it becomes this incredibly full of cavities and surface area for the bacteria to live on. It's actually amazing, and it doesn't smell like stinking burning hair for some reason, unlike whenever you try to burn it. So don't throw out your contaminated plates. Yes, we inoculated seedlings, just graduates. Oh, nice. Okay, that's super cool. That's something I've been wanting to do is get the plants in as well. And I'm working on that. I'll be working on that a lot more this winter time as well. Tell me we need a block chipper. So we've actually worked on, I think it was actually Seth of Mushroom Media Online. He was actually trying to get something made. But we needed, I guess, a metal worker or something like that. Savannah's uncle made a prototype, and there's a couple of other things that I think would make it work perfect. But Chanterelles mycelium grows into the agar, raises the agar up, and turns it golden. It's actually a symbiotic bacteria that causes the golden color. The two separate eventually. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Chanterelles are something that they're one of my favorites, wild mushrooms to eat. And it's that time of year now, so I'm getting as many of them as I can possibly get. So we've got the smooth chanterelle is what I tried to clone today. So I lost my tabs. Okay, there we go. I just clicked out and I was trying to get it. That's why. Okay, so knotweed. I mean, I would assume you can pyrolyze knotweed just fine. I think that it would probably, like, if it's green, like I've pyrolyzed green stuff before, you get a lot of like moisture, steam coming out of your kiln at first, but then it grows out just fine. Once separated, the mycelium jumps out of the agar and runs across the plate as white mycelium. So all your shit trail plates start out as contaminated. See Eric Daniel's work. I absolutely will. I'll look that up now. Eric Daniel. Thank you for pointing me in the right direction. I greatly appreciate that. Ecology and Management of Commercially Harvested Chanterelle Mushrooms. Authors David Piltz, Lorelei Narvell, Eric Daniel, Randy Molina. Don't recognize that one. I probably should, shouldn't I? Let's see. Randy Molina. Chanterelles. I don't know. I'll look this up later. I haven't got time, but I've got that saved. So thank you very much. Regrow soil dwellers, as is like Agaricus, Clitocybe, Mariaspis. Okay, so you're not growing. That's what was really. I was like, man, what is commercially relevant? Forgetting that not all of us do this commercially, or we do the or is the commercial side is the research side kind of thing. You don't have much time. All right. Sorry, subject jumped. It's Dirty Jobs, Season 3, Episode 2, Poo Pot Maker. Oh my gosh, Micro. Which is hilarious to me, because whenever I say things like Micro, a lot of people think I'm saying Mike Crow from Southwest Mushrooms. But I'm saying Mike Rowe right here. So, hey, I love Mike Rowe. He's one of my favorites, favorite celebrities out there. I think he's doing some really good stuff. I think Brody's thinking about going into the trades. I think Aislin's gonna want to go into biology. I don't know. She's got a really good musical gift too. And then Collier's been talking about going for the trades as well. And some of this is micro as we were working at stuff. Yes, I have to pause on the road. Yeah. I think a lot of people are going to be going into the trades because of that, which is good because people need it. It's bit me. Oh, man. Okay, let me check. I don't think I have any more videos to add, but I want to make sure that I have them queued up. Doop, 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 doop. Nope, that's it. I made this. This is so stupid. It has nothing to do with what we're talking here. It's only going to take 8 seconds. But I made this using the AI animator the other day.
Growth algorithm, splice the nutrient threads, rewrite in every cycle till the soil's brain spreads. I see new patterns in the cortex of the land.
It's my little turtle man. I made a turtle wrapper. Oh my gosh. The best use of AI right there. We are you are commercial. Wait, Clitocybe and Mariaspis are huge industries as morels. I didn't know Clitocybe was a huge industry. I'm really missing out here. Wait a minute. We're not okay. We're talking about like bluets. I forgot that bluets were Clitocybe. I was thinking more like I can't remember the big one that grows out in your yard. The poisonous one. So I was like, oh, okay, well, you must be doing research for that. I gotcha. And then Mariaspis, yeah, I should have. And Agaricus I knew for sure was commercial, but you got me. And I didn't. So are you guys growing morels like the Dutch method? Because I would be very, very interested in that. Let's see. Boop, boop. So I'm trying to find the marasmus that I grew recently, since you're into that kind of thing. Where's my photos? Um, well, I can't find them, but they looked a lot like this. Let me share screen. Oh, come on. Why are you not? There we go. Bam. So they looked a lot like this. I don't even know what it is. I knew, like, yeah, parachute mushroom is like what I called it. And it was orange. It wasn't actually like this color. But I grew one of these, which I believe is a Rasmus. And, I don't even see any on here that look exactly like. Oh, no, that's not it. No, they weren't like orange like this. They were like super orange. And tiny. I actually couldn't clone them. They were so small. Ooh, kind of like this, but orange. Or like this, but way more orange, but not grown on a leaf. They were grown on a stick. And they were tiny, so tiny that I couldn't clone them. I had to end up spore printing them. And they were so tiny that I placed them very carefully with my tweezers, and then I drew with a very fine tip Sharpie a circle around the mushroom. And then I left it there for a couple hours, and I came back, and that mushroom had dried out so much it was just a little dried husk. But whenever I took a swabbed across that spore print, and then put it to a few dishes, and had some of those grow. So it was very, very interesting. Should do a video of Sasquatch growing mushrooms. I do like the Sasquatch videos, though. I feel like I loved them when they first started, and now I'm kind of like, I'm a little done with it. But I should do a video of them grow mushrooms. Our son did a senior project on the Dutch Morel project. Definitely an area. It's a very interesting thing. I figure if somebody was doing it and they were just really slaying commercially, that it would probably be leased or licensed to a bigger farm or something like that. I don't know. I've seen people grow morels. I know it's absolutely possible. It's just a question of whether it's commercially profitable. Rasmus Oriades. Let me see. Yes. Andrew, learn to type. Fairy or mushroom or Scotch bonnet. Let's see. Fairy ring champignon or Scotch bonnet is a mushroom native to North America and Europe. There's many other mushrooms grown fairy rings, such as edible Agaricus campestris and the poisonous Chlorophyllum molybdes. Ooh, I actually have a culture of Chlorophyllum molybdes. At least I believe it's a culture. You get it DNA tested. It is in a box, locked in a box, in a safe, or something like that, because I don't ever want an employee to pull out anything that's potentially poisonous. But what I grew was nothing like this. Is a choice edible mushroom. Okay, so is this the one you're growing? That would be neat. That'd be super cool. A grass parasite. Okay. That's neat. I didn't even know somebody was growing any of those. Man, fungus is so cool. There's so much to do, so much to learn, and so many ways to do it. Oh, look. That's my little orange kitty friend. He's trying to nurse on mama. That's my buddy. I've never been a cat person my entire life, and I know it's, a horrible thing to say online, and it's not that I hate cats. They've just never liked me, and I've always been a dog person, but Spanda's always been a cat person. And then I was like, okay, these cats are neat because they keep the mice away, but that's not really much. And that little orange kitten, like, it so loves me that I'm just like, I can't help but like you because you just love me so much. It's a little different when the thing likes you back. That's what I saw to my children. That one likes to curl. Like, he slept. That one right there. He slept in my arms like an hour and a half this morning. What? Huh? Oh, really? Your mom just said one of the cats was on the table. Just not allowed to be. I don't know. Outside is what I saw. Huh? I don't think he's gone. I don't know. We'll talk about it later. I don't know why you guys got to fight and stuff anyways. They always have to fight. They're at this age. And I don't remember fighting with my brother quite like this. But let's just do a sponsorship real quick. Imagine a world where the most unique, rare, and powerful mushroom strains are preserved, studied, and shared with growers like you. That's exactly what we're building with the Mycologium, a living archive of fungal biodiversity, sourced from the wild, expanded in the lab, and made available for researchers, growers, and curious minds alike. But here's the best part. You can be a part of it. If you're a bioprospector, a forager, or just someone who loves finding cool mushrooms in the wild, you can send in your samples. If you send me in a wild mushroom and I can successfully clone it, I'll send you back a cleaned up culture of it. If you send me a culture that you've already cleaned up yourself, I'll send you one for our library, ready to grow, experiment with, or add to your collection. That's right. Culture for culture. You help expand the library, and you get something amazing in return. The goal? To preserve fungal diversity, to give people access to new genetics, and maybe, just maybe, to discover something truly groundbreaking. So if you've got an interesting mushroom, a rare find, or a strain that deserves a place in the archives, send it in. Let's build something incredible together. The Mycologium, preserving fungal biodiversity, one culture at a time. Want to learn more? Hit us up, shoot us a message, and let's keep spawning culture, y'all. You guys caught me unawares. I'm just downloading the PDF for Eric Daniels work, David Piltz, Eric Daniel, Randy Molina, Lorelei Norvell. Ecology and management of commercially harvested chanterelle mushrooms. So I'm going to also raid every single other study I can find and put these in to my mycorrhizal AI research assistant. We have one of those. Our neighbor's cat adopted us. He keeps the mice down, comes to our door demanding treats and pets, and drinks out of the sink and leaves. Yeah, that's exactly the way. I like my little buddy's not there yet where he's doing all this stuff, but he's really friendly and he's really interested in everything. And I like that. I'm actually wondering, can you have an adventure cat? Like, can you have a cat that you can take out in the wild with you and it'll hike with you? I don't think so. But if you could, I think he could do it. Oh my gosh, guys, I may do something I've never done before. I may wax poetical about a cat. He's actually at my feet here. Oh, Rose, you left, Rose. At least it says you left. That's not cool. Just realized you're the main character in Common Side Effects. I know. You just realized. I've even got the belly. Look at the shirt, man. Oh, I think I've got 2 more episodes. I need to go back and finish that. Or no, did I finish it and they left it on a cliffhanger? I'll have to check it. For those of you who don't know what he's talking about, you should watch Common Side Effects. It's an animated show, but it's fantastic. Especially if you have any form of any vein, strain, anything of the like inside of you that is, anti-authority or potentially anti-system or hippy, even rednecks, I think will like this show. It's a great one. Oh, you are here. Oh, weird. It's telling me. So it keeps doing this where it's like it messes with my audience. Like, so see, like I can see you're on Facebook here. Watching, but it's saying my Facebook audience is 0, even though, and then it's like, but then there's 4 people on Facebook that just liked it. So I don't know. It's weird. Can only trust the analytics a little bit. But yeah, Richard, I'm glad you pointed that out. I really like his character. I mean, he's naive, I definitely think he's super naive. I think I'm a slightly more I don't know if I'm more jaded because he's pretty jaded, but he's jaded in a different way. Oh, that makes me so happy. You don't even know. All right, guys, I got about 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get off because it'll be 9 o'clock, and you know I've got to get to bed. I've got a mentorship to teach tomorrow, and I've got to wind down, and I still haven't eaten supper. So I Samantha made some spaghetti, and then with peppers from the garden. And so basically this summer, what I've started doing now is I'm just making an onion and pepper base, and then it'll have noodles, or it'll have rice, or it'll have burrito mix, or it'll have anything. Oh, mushrooms. Sorry, mushrooms, onions, and peppers. So, and I guess Facebook is lying. Well, what's new? But my gosh, man, these homegrown peppers in that mushroom compost are just the most fantastic thing ever. And then you have homegrown mushrooms or like enoki powder added to the onions and the mushrooms and stuff. And that way, even the kids don't know they're eating fungus, because sometimes the kids think, fungus ain't good, which is just weird. One of the cats is over there pawing the food bag, which is funny because there's food in the food bowl. But let's see. Package is delayed. I really wish I wouldn't I need to turn off these notifications. Sorry, one more thing. But yeah, guys. So, like I said, I've got about 4 minutes now, three or 4 minutes. So, if you guys have any more questions, I'm happy to answer questions as long as they're coming. And then, other than that, we'll probably call it a night right after. So, I'll give it a couple more minutes. But this little printer, Faux Mimo, the mentorship that came in today, got me hooked on one of these. I ordered it yesterday and it arrived today, and I'm just like, it's crazy to me that stuff arrives so fast now. Like, Amazon is really just, I got a same day order the other day. Like, I ordered something and it came in, and the mentorship was saying they had the same thing, and it just freaked him out. It's freaking me out. But this little printer is pretty cool. I'm going to be using it quite a bit. He brought his in so I can see it. But Golden Chant on Agar. This is what to look for. Golden Chant on Agar. I will definitely hold on to that, Silver Leapers. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for sharing that. I enjoy becoming a better grower due to my people, my audience, my people that watch. Air fried till crispy. What's not to love? Oh, that's yep. Yeah. I've also started taking like our bigger peppers out of the garden. And of course, they're so good. This is a Zvarsky pepper in this mushroom compost. Just, oh my gosh, it just goes crazy. I get such huge plants, and it grows these big peppers, and we just cut them down the center, pull the seeds out, and then lay them skin side down on the grill, our wood fire grill, and just let it smoky and roast the peppers, and it's so good. Yeah, absolutely, Ogre. Thank you. Or Ogre and Ogre Wifey. I keep that aquarium UVC bulb going. We got to. You got to make sure the aquarium's clean. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. It's been fun. And thank you for letting me just kind of ramble on about one of my favorite subjects. It makes me really happy to be able to do so. So don't forget your guys' coupon code that we did earlier in the stream. Don't forget to get you some elixir. Oh, also, the culture cleanup mix is now on the website. I am currently working on getting bulk packs back up. We have some new Hericium strains going up on Hericium bulk packs. So you guys can come through. It's fine. Okay, you don't want to go there? Yeah, so we got Hericium bulk packs. I got a Reishi bulk pack. I've got a bunch of wild strains coming out for the Reishi bulk pack. We got a bunch of good stuff coming out, guys. So keep checking on the website and keep spawning culture, y'all. Really appreciate you. Oh, also, I think there's a different AI song that I wrote at the end of this one. It's the same song, different beat. I don't know. Maybe you want to check it out.
Boots in the mud, hands in decay.
transforming the earth in a fungal way. Line by line, nutrient loops compile. Microbial logic runs mile by mile. Binary and beetles, syntax and roots. Soil's the circuit and the seeds are the fruits. Break it all down, build it back up. Carbon's the currency in my data cup. I code with compost, algorithms of earth. Rewrite the cycles, design rebirth. From waste to harvest, nothing is lost. Future is fertile, I code with compost. I debug decay where the landfill lies. Patch the system with black soldier flies. Duckweed processors float in the street.